Have you ever wondered what separates the ultra-wealthy from everyone else? Is it just about having more money? Or is there something deeper? A different way of thinking? A different relationship with money itself? Most people believe that getting rich is about a high-paying job, a lucky break, or some secret investment trick. But the truth is, for the top 1%, wealth isn't just about what's in their bank account. It's about what's in their mind. It's a fundamental shift in perspective that transforms money from something you chase into something that works for you. Here's a stunning fact. The top 1% in America now hold over $52 trillion in wealth, and they added $4 trillion to that total just in the last year alone. Meanwhile, the average person is still struggling with credit card debt, living paycheck to paycheck, and wondering why they can't seem to get ahead. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain. We're going to explore the powerful mindset shifts that allow the top 1% to build and sustain incredible wealth. These aren't complex financial strategies. They're simple, profound principles that anyone can start applying right now. So, if you're ready to stop living paycheck to paycheck and start building real financial freedom, stay tuned. Because by the end of this video, you won't just understand how the rich think. You'll have a roadmap to start thinking like them. Let's start with the most basic yet most powerful distinction. The wealthy see the world in terms of assets and liabilities. Now, you might think you know what an asset is: your house, your car, the things you own. But the rich have a much stricter definition. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. Think about a typical purchase, like a new luxury car. Let's say it's a $70,000 Mercedes. For most people, that car feels like an asset. It's valuable. It's a status symbol. It makes them feel successful. But in reality, it's a liability. You have a monthly payment of maybe $1,200. You have insurance, another $300 a month. You have maintenance costs. You have fuel costs. And all the while, the car is depreciating. It's losing value every single day. The moment you drive it off the lot, it loses 20% of its value. After 5 years, that $70,000 car might be worth $35,000. You've lost $35,000 plus all those monthly costs. It's a money pit. Now let's look at how the wealthy would approach that same $70,000. Instead of buying the car, they might use it as a down payment on a rental property worth $350,000. That property also has costs: a mortgage payment, property taxes, insurance, maintenance. But here's the difference. That property generates rental income. Let's say it brings in $2,500 a month in rent. After all the expenses, you might clear $500 a month in positive cash flow. That's $6,000 a year of passive income. And while it's doing that, the property is also likely appreciating in value. Over time, your tenants are paying down your mortgage, the property value is going up, and you're building real wealth. This isn't just about cars and houses. It's a mindset that applies to every single financial decision. Before they buy something, the wealthy ask a simple question: will this make me money, or will this cost me money? They are obsessed with acquiring income-generating assets: stocks that pay dividends, businesses that generate profit, real estate that produces rental income, intellectual property that creates royalties. They understand that the path to wealth is not about having a high income. It's about having a high asset column. This brings us to the second major mindset shift. The wealthy don't trade their time for money. They understand that time is their most valuable resource, and it's finite. You can always make more money, but you can never make more time. So they build systems that make money for them, even when they're not working. Most people are trapped in a linear income model. They go to a job, they work a certain number of hours, and they get paid for those hours. Let's say you make $50 an hour. That sounds pretty good. But to make $100,000 a year, you need to work 2,000 hours. That's 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year. The only way to make more money is to work more hours. But there are only 24 hours in a day. That's a trap. You've hit a ceiling. The wealthy, on the other hand, focus on building passive income streams. These are sources of income that are not directly tied to their time. A rental property generates income whether you're on vacation or sleeping. A well-structured investment portfolio grows without you having to do anything. A successful business can run on its own, with the right systems and people in place. An online course you created once can sell thousands of times without any additional work from you. Let me give you a real example. Imagine you write a book. It takes you 6 months of hard work, but once it's published, it can sell for years, even decades. Every sale puts money in your pocket without you having to do anything more. Or think about someone who builds a software app. They invest time and money up front, but once it's built, it can generate revenue 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all around the world. That's leverage. The wealthy are masters of leverage. They leverage their money, their knowledge, and other people's time to create income streams that are independent of their own efforts. They hire employees to run their businesses. They invest in index funds that hold hundreds of companies. They create systems and processes that work without their constant involvement. This is a fundamental shift in how you think about work. It's not about working harder. It's about working smarter. It's about building a machine that generates income for you. Most people operate from a place of scarcity. They see the world as a zero-sum game. If someone else is winning, it means they're losing. They're afraid to take risks. They're afraid to invest. They're afraid of losing what little they have. This scarcity mindset is a self-fulfilling prophecy. It keeps people small. It keeps them stuck. Here's what scarcity thinking sounds like. I can't afford to invest right now. What if I lose money? I need to save every penny. I can't start a business because I might fail. Someone else already did that idea. There's not enough opportunity for me. This kind of thinking creates a mental prison. It prevents you from seeing possibilities. It keeps you focused on what you don't have instead of what you could create. The wealthy, on the other hand, operate from a place of abundance. They see a world full of opportunities. They are not afraid to take calculated risks. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It's a stepping stone to success. They know that money is not a finite resource. It's a renewable one. It can be created. It can be multiplied. Richard Branson, the billionaire founder of Virgin Group, once said that you don't learn to walk by following rules. You learn by doing and by falling over. He's failed at dozens of business ventures, but he doesn't see those as failures. He sees them as lessons. Each one taught him something valuable that helped him succeed in the next venture. This abundance mindset is not about being reckless. It's about being strategic. It's about understanding that the biggest risk is not taking any risk at all. It's about having a long-term perspective. The wealthy don't get rattled by short-term market fluctuations. They don't panic sell when the market dips. They see it as a buying opportunity. When everyone else is fearful, they are greedy. When everyone else is greedy, they're cautious. They're playing a different game, a long game. And this long-term thinking extends to every aspect of their financial lives. They don't just think about this month's bills or next year's vacation. They think in decades. They are building a legacy. They are planting trees whose shade they may never sit in. This long-term perspective allows them to make decisions that may not have an immediate payoff, but will compound over time into massive wealth. Warren Buffett is the perfect example of this. He started investing when he was 11 years old, but most of his wealth was accumulated after he turned 50. He let his investments grow and reinvest for decades. Time was his greatest asset. This is why the wealthy are so focused on growth. They're constantly learning. They're constantly investing in themselves. They buy books, not designer clothes. They attend seminars and hire coaches. They understand that their most valuable asset is their own knowledge, and they are constantly upgrading it. Think about it this way. If you spend $1,000 on a new outfit, you get temporary satisfaction. But if you spend $1,000 on a course that teaches you a new skill, that skill could increase your income by $10,000 a year. That's a 900% return on investment. The wealthy see this clearly. They invest in things that grow, not things that depreciate. The wealthy see spending differently. For most people, spending is an emotional experience. They buy things to feel good, to impress others, to fill a void. The wealthy, on the other hand, see spending as a strategic tool. They don't spend to consume, they spend to invest. Before they make a purchase, they ask themselves, what is the return on this investment? And they're not just talking about financial return. They're talking about return on energy, return on time, return on relationships. They understand that every dollar they spend is a vote for the kind of life they want to create. Let me give you an example. Imagine there's a networking event that costs $500 to attend. Most people would think that's too expensive. But a wealthy person thinks differently. They ask, who will be at this event? Could I meet a potential business partner? Could I learn something valuable? Could this connection lead to a deal worth $50,000? If the answer is yes, then $500 is a bargain. That's investment thinking. So they build strong networks. They surround themselves with people who are smarter and more successful than they are. They know that their network is their net worth. They spend money on dinners with mentors. They join mastermind groups. They attend conferences. They understand that the right connection can change everything. And they invest in their businesses. They are not afraid to spend money to make money. They hire the best people. They buy the best tools. They invest in marketing. They're constantly looking for ways to improve their products and services. They are obsessed with adding value because they know that money is a byproduct of value creation. The more value you create, the more money flows to you. This is a radical shift from the consumer mindset that is so prevalent in our society. It's about moving from being a consumer to being an owner. It's about taking control of your financial destiny. And that starts with taking control of your mindset. So, how do you start to cultivate this wealthy mindset? It's not going to happen overnight. It's a process of unlearning old habits and building new ones. But here are practical steps you can take right now. First, start tracking your assets and liabilities. Create a simple spreadsheet and list everything you own and everything you owe. Be honest with yourself. Is your car an asset or a liability? Is your house an asset or a liability? This simple exercise will give you a clear picture of your financial health and help you start thinking like an owner. Second, start building your first passive income stream. It doesn't have to be big. You could start a blog and monetize it. You could create a digital product like an ebook. You could invest in a dividend-paying stock. You could rent out a spare room. The goal is to start decoupling your income from your time. Even if it's just $100 a month at first, that's $100 you didn't have to trade your time for. Third, start investing in yourself. Read books about business, investing, and personal development. Take online courses, attend seminars and workshops, surround yourself with people who are playing a bigger game, join a mastermind group, or find a mentor. The more you learn, the more you earn. Your income will rarely exceed your personal development. Fourth, start practicing delayed gratification. The next time you're tempted to make an impulse purchase, stop and ask yourself, is this a need or a want? Is this an investment or an expense? Will this bring me closer to my financial goals? And finally, start thinking in decades. Where do you want to be in 10 years? 20 years? 30 years? What kind of legacy do you want to leave? When you have a long-term vision, it's much easier to make short-term sacrifices. These are not just financial strategies. They are a way of life. They are the principles that guide the decisions of the top 1%, and they are available to you right now. You don't need a lot of money to start thinking like the wealthy. You just need a willingness to change your mindset. So what's it going to be? Are you going to continue to trade your time for money? To live in a state of scarcity? To be a consumer? Or are you going to start building assets? To cultivate an abundance mindset? To become an owner? If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe to Frankie Finance for more insights into the world of wealth and financial freedom. Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and leave a comment below with your biggest takeaway. We'd love to hear from you.